Hello everyone, and welcome back to Daily English Conversation. Today we have something a little different for you.
Yes, today we are not just going to teach you grammar rules or vocabulary lists. Today we are going to tell you a story.
And through this story, you are going to learn some very important English phrases, expressions, and vocabulary that you can use in your everyday life.
The story is called Nothing is Free, and it is a story that everyone can relate to because it is about real life. It's about decisions, about learning lessons, and about understanding the world a little better.
So, sit back, relax, and listen carefully. We will tell the story together and stop along the way to explain the language and vocabulary as we go.
And do not worry if you don't understand every single word the first time. Just keep listening. The meaning will become clear. That's how storytelling works.
So, let us begin. Our story is about a young man named Daniel. Daniel is 24 years old. He lives in a small apartment in a busy city. He works at a shop 5 days a week and earns enough money to pay his rent and buy food, but not much more than that.
Daniel is a good person. He works hard, he's honest, but he has one big weakness. He loves a good deal. If something is cheap or on sale, Daniel cannot resist it. And if something is free, Daniel will always take it without thinking twice.
One Saturday morning, Daniel is walking through the city center. He sees a big, colorful sign outside a new shop. The sign says, "Grand opening today. Free gifts for everyone who comes inside."
Now, let's stop here for a moment. The phrase grand opening is used when a new shop or business opens for the very first time. Grand means big and special, so a grand opening is a big celebration of a new shop opening its doors.
You'll hear grand opening a lot in English. We had a grand opening party. They're having a grand opening this weekend. It's a very common phrase in everyday English.
And the phrase free gifts is interesting too. Technically, a gift is already free because a gift is something given without payment. But in marketing and advertising, companies often say free gifts to make it sound even more attractive.
So when you see free gifts in an advertisement, it's a marketing phrase designed to catch your attention, just like the sign caught Daniel's attention.
So Daniel sees this sign and his eyes light up. He crosses the road and walks straight into the shop. Inside, the shop is selling kitchen appliances, things like blenders, toasters, kettles, and coffee machines.
A man in a smart suit walks up to Daniel and shakes his hand warmly. He says, "Welcome, sir. So glad you came in today. My name is Victor, and I'm going to show you some incredible products."
Let's stop again. Notice the word incredible. Incredible means extremely good, almost impossible to believe. Salespeople love to use words like incredible, amazing, fantastic, and unbelievable because these words create excitement and make you feel like you're getting something special.
When someone is trying to sell you something and they use a lot of these big, exciting words, it's always a good idea to slow down and think carefully. Good salespeople know how to use language to create emotion.
So Victor starts showing Daniel all kinds of kitchen machines. He picks up a shiny silver blender and says, "This is not just a blender, sir. This is a life-changing machine. It will blend anything. Ice, vegetables, nuts, frozen fruit. It's the most powerful blender on the market today."
Daniel listens carefully. He's interested, but he's also cautious. He asks Victor, "How much does this cost?"
Victor smiles and says, "Well, normally this blender costs $300, but because today is our grand opening, we have a very special offer. If you buy the blender today, you get a free set of kitchen knives worth $50, absolutely free, no extra charge, zero cost."
Let us stop here and look at some of the language Victor is using. He says, normally, this costs $300. The word normally is important here. It means under regular circumstances, without any special deal. Salespeople use normally to make the current price seem like a big saving.
And then he uses the phrase special offer. A special offer means a reduced price or an added bonus that is only available for a limited time. Special offers are designed to make you feel that you need to act quickly or you'll miss out.
And then Victor says the knives are absolutely free. No extra charge, zero cost. He says the same thing 3 times in different words. Absolutely free, no extra charge, zero cost. This is a sales technique. Repeating the word free multiple times makes it feel very generous.
So Daniel looks at the blender. He thinks about it. He doesn't really need a blender. He has a perfectly fine blender at home that works well. But then he thinks about the free knives. His kitchen knives are old. He does need new knives, and getting them for free sounds like a great deal.
So Daniel makes a decision. He decides to buy the blender to get the free knives. He hands over $300, and Victor packs everything up in a nice box with a ribbon on top.
Daniel walks home feeling very pleased with himself. He thinks, I needed new knives anyway, and I got them for free. What a clever purchase.
But when Daniel gets home and unpacks the box, he looks at the knives carefully for the first time. They feel very light, very cheap. The blades are thin and not very sharp. He goes online and searches for the knife set. He finds the same set on a shopping website.
The price on the website for those knives is $8.
Not $50. $8.
Daniel sits down at his kitchen table and he thinks. Victor told him the knives were worth $50, but they're actually worth $8. So the free gift that persuaded him to spend $300 on a blender he didn't need is actually worth only $8.
Now, let's stop here and talk about some very important vocabulary and expressions that came up in this part of the story.
The first expression is worth. Worth means the value of something, how much something deserves to cost based on its quality and usefulness. Those knives are worth $8 means their real value is $8.
Salespeople sometimes say something is worth much more than it actually is. They might say, this is worth $100, when the real market value is much lower. Always check the worth of something yourself before accepting what a salesperson tells you.
The second expression is persuaded. To persuade someone means to convince them to do something, to use words or reasons to change someone's mind. Victor persuaded Daniel to buy the blender by offering the free knives.
You'll hear persuade and persuasion a lot in English. He persuaded me to stay. She was persuaded by his argument. They tried to persuade us, but we said no. It's a very useful verb for everyday conversation.
The third expression is market value. Market value means the price that something would normally sell for in the real world, not the price someone claims it is worth, but the actual price you would pay in a normal shop or online.
When someone tells you something is worth a lot, always think about the market value. What would this actually cost if I searched for it myself?
So Daniel sits at his table feeling a little foolish. He realizes he spent $300 on a blender he didn't need in order to get knives worth only $8. He tells himself this is the last time he gets excited about something that sounds free.
But the story doesn't end there. The next day, Daniel is at work and he tells his colleague Rosa about what happened. Rosa listens and then says something that Daniel thinks about for a very long time.
Rosa says, nothing is ever truly free, Daniel. Whenever someone offers you something for free, something else is always being exchanged. Either your time, your money, your attention, or your personal information. Free is just a word they use to get you interested.
Daniel thinks about this. He thinks about all the times he's done things because they were free. He once signed up for a free app and spent hours every day using it. The app was free, but it took his time and his attention and showed him advertisements constantly. He once gave his email address to get a free discount code. After that, he received hundreds of marketing emails every week for years. His email address was the price he paid for the discount. He once attended a free seminar about investing. At the end of the seminar, they tried to sell him a very expensive course. His time sitting through the presentation was the price of the free seminar.
Let's stop here and talk about this idea because it's so important for everyday life and for English vocabulary.
The idea that nothing is truly free is expressed in English through a very famous phrase. There is no such thing as a free lunch.
This phrase comes from old American history when bars and saloons used to offer a free lunch to customers. But to get the free lunch, you had to buy a drink. So the lunch was really not free. The drink was the real cost.
Today, we use this phrase to mean that whenever something appears to be free, there is always a hidden cost somewhere. The cost might be your time, your money, your data, your attention. Daniel's free knife set sounded too good to be true, and it was. The knives were not worth $50. They were worth $8. When something sounds too good to be true, slow down and investigate before you commit.
The third phrase is catch. In English, when we ask what is the catch, we are asking what is the hidden problem or the secret cost? What is the thing that makes this deal less good than it appears?
If someone offers you something amazing and you feel suspicious, you might say, "That sounds great, but what is the catch?" This is a very natural phrase in everyday English conversation.
What is the catch? Is there a catch? There must be a catch somewhere. These are all natural ways to use this phrase.
The fourth phrase is strings attached. When something comes with no strings attached, it means it is genuinely free with no conditions and no hidden requirements. But in real life, most things do come with strings attached.
You got a free phone, but there are strings attached. You must sign a 2-year contract. You got a free trial, but there are strings attached. You must give your credit card details and cancel before the trial ends or you get charged.
No strings attached is a beautiful phrase to say something is completely free and open, but it is used more often in negative form. There are strings attached. There are always strings attached.
Now let's go back to Daniel because his story continues.
A few weeks after the blender incident, Daniel is browsing the internet when he sees an advertisement for a free online course. The course teaches digital skills, and it's offered by a well-known company. It's completely free, no payment required.
Myro Rosa's words, "Nothing is ever truly free." So this time he stops and thinks before he clicks.
He asks himself some questions. What does this company get from giving this course away for free? What is the hidden cost? What are the strings attached? What might be too good to be true here?
He reads the terms and conditions of the course carefully. He finds out that by signing up, he's agreeing to share his data with the company and with their partner companies. His name, his email, his location, and his browsing habits will all be shared.
So the course is free, but his personal data is the price.
Now here's where Daniel makes a mature and thoughtful decision. He decides that the course content is genuinely valuable, and the data sharing is something he's willing to accept in this case. He signs up with clear eyes. He knows what he is giving in return.
This is such an important lesson, not just for English learners, but for everyone. Understanding the real cost of something and then making an informed decision is completely different from just taking something because it says free on the label.
An informed decision means a decision you make after understanding all the facts, not a decision based on excitement or the word free.
Let's look at some more vocabulary from this part of the story.
Market value. This phrase refers to the actual price something would normally sell for in the real world.
Terms and conditions. This phrase refers to the rules and agreements that you accept when you use a service or buy a product. In everyday English, people often shorten this to terms or just terms. Always read the terms and conditions before you agree to anything.
Personal data. This means information about you as a person. Your name, address, phone number, email, location, browsing history, and online habits are all personal data. In the modern world, personal data is extremely valuable to companies.
Informed decision. As James mentioned, an informed decision is a decision you make after understanding all the facts. Inform means to give information. So an informed person is someone who has received the full information before deciding.
The opposite of an informed decision is an impulsive decision. Impulsive means acting quickly, without thinking, driven by emotion or excitement rather than careful thought.
Daniel's first decision to buy the blender was impulsive. His second decision about the online course was informed. And the difference between those two decisions made him much happier with the outcome.
Outcome is another great word. Outcome means the result of a decision or action. The outcome of Daniel's impulsive decision was disappointment. The outcome of his informed decision was satisfaction.
So, our story today carries several lessons, and each lesson is connected to real English vocabulary and phrases you can use in your life.
When someone offers you something free, ask yourself, what is the real cost? When an offer sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Always look for hidden costs and strings attached.
When someone is selling something and using very exciting language, take a breath and think carefully. Words like incredible, amazing, worth, and special offer are designed to create emotion, not information.
And the most important lesson, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Nothing in life is completely without cost. But once you understand this, you can make better decisions and feel more confident in every situation.
Now, let's talk about some grammar and language that appeared naturally throughout our story today. Because this is a language podcast after all.
Throughout the story, we used a lot of past simple tense. Daniel walked into the shop. Victor smiled and said. Daniel thought about it. Daniel sat down. These are all past simple because we are telling a story about things that happened in the past.
When you tell a story in English, past simple is your main tense. You use it for the sequence of events. First this happened, then that happened, then this happened. Past simple builds the timeline of the story.
We also used some reported speech. Victor told him the knives were worth $50. Rosa said nothing is ever truly free. When you report what someone said in the past, you usually shift the tense one step back.
Victor says, this is worth $50 becomes, Victor said this was worth $50. Or we can also say, Victor told him the knives were worth $50. Both are natural reported speech.
We used some modal verbs throughout. Should, might, must, can. Always ask, are there any hidden costs? There must be a catch somewhere. This might be too good to be true. These modal verbs express advice, possibility, and obligation in natural English.
So, through one simple story about a young man and a blender, we covered past simple storytelling, reported speech, first conditional, modal verbs, and a whole collection of important vocabulary and expressions.
And that's the beauty of learning English through stories. The language appears naturally in a real context. It's not just a list of words to memorize. It's living language inside a situation you can imagine and understand.
Before we finish today, let's review all the key phrases and vocabulary from our stories so you have a clear list to remember.
Grand opening. When a new shop or business opens for the first time in a big, special way.
Incredible, extremely good, almost impossible to believe, often used in sales and advertising.
Special offer. A reduced price or bonus that is only available for a limited time.
Worth. The real value of something. How much something deserves to cost.
Persuade. To convince someone to do something using words or reasons.
Market value. The actual price something would normally sell for in the real world.
There's no such thing as a free lunch. A famous expression meaning nothing is truly free. There's always a cost somewhere.
Hidden cost. A cost that is not obvious at first and only appears later.
Too good to be true. If an offer seems unrealistically good, it probably isn't as good as it appears.
What is the catch? What is the hidden problem or secret cost in this offer?
Strings attached. Hidden conditions or requirements that come with an offer.
Terms and conditions. The rules and agreements you accept when using a service or product.
Personal data. Information about you as an individual.
Informed decision. An informed decision made after understanding all the facts clearly.
Impulsive decision. A quick decision made on emotion without thinking carefully.
Outcome. the result of a decision or action.
That's a wonderful collection of vocabulary, and every single phrase is useful in real everyday English life.
And they all came from one simple story about a young man who learned that nothing is free, a lesson that most of us learn at some point in our lives.
If you heard any phrases today that you want to practice, try using them in a sentence of your own. Write it down or say it out loud. Using new vocabulary in your own words is the fastest way to make it yours.
And if you want to tell us your own story about a time you learned that nothing is free, write it in the comments. Writing in English about your own experience is one of the best ways to practice.
Thank you so much for listening today. We hope this episode gave you not just useful English, but also a useful lesson for life.
We'll see you in the next episode. Keep listening, keep learning, and keep growing. Goodbye, everyone.